The sad thing about mental health in adults and kids and anybody is a lot of times the face of mental health, it's a face that you see every day. It's not something that you can look at and go, oh, they have anxiety, oh, they have depression, oh, they have ADHD. You can't look at someone and see it.
Our students are no different than any other students. The pressures of the job, the pressures of education in general, the idea that we have to succeed at all costs, kind of a mentality that our society puts on children and educators, raises the anxiety level of those individuals. And teachers take that home, kids take that home, and we don't have an outlet really on how to deal with that.
I love teaching. I love the students. In all my years, I did see that we had some students that had struggles. My heart just kind of always went out to them. All this year, we've been dealing with the pandemic, and I see such a huge shift to where we're dealing with mental health right now. I think we are just going to be appalled to see the rise in mental health issues from children in the elementary school all the way up to adults.
Maddie was in second grade when she was first diagnosed with ADHD. Maddie had a lot of trouble with focusing. She didn't have any of the hyperactivity, it was mainly the focus. When hybrid came, changing that schedule was really, really hard for her, and it took a lot of reorganizing for us as a family. And that's when we saw her anxiety start to exhibit itself. She actually has panic attacks to the point where she shakes and has given herself a black eye.
You just want people the kids especially, the students, just to feel good about themselves and to have the tools they need to be successful in life.
We know that 1 in 5 children struggle with some sort of mental disorder. We know that 1 in 54 fit on the autism spectrum. 1 in 8 children seriously consider suicide. 13% of those actually make an attempt. It's becoming a public health issue, and we know that treatment and support early on certainly can make these, help these people become more productive citizens. We're investing in our future if we invest now.
Nationwide, there's a poverty of psychiatrists. So less and less are going into the field, and those in the field are also aging out. So it's looking at how we're able to bring that level of care to the people that need it. There are times, even in the state of Missouri, that there is no longer an acute behavioral health bed within a hospital open. There are times that people are having to be what they call boarded in emergency departments because we can't get them to one of those hospital beds.
A lot of the folks that we see, whether it's possession of controlled substances or DWIs or domestic violence, a lot of it stems from the underlying problem, which is some sort of undiagnosed or untreated mental health crisis within that individual. We followed statistics on the criminal cases here in Nottoway County. Statistics will show that if we convict a person of a felony, drugs or otherwise, we send them to prison, eventually they're going to be released. Statistics say that over 60% of them will commit another offense. When we take the same type of crime or the same type of person who commits those crimes, and we put them into an intensive supervision program that collaborates with mental health treatment, substance abuse treatment, supervision, and it's intensive supervision, as well as multiple meetings per week. We keep them busy, we get them the treatment that they need. What we found is that while they're in the program, the same people that would commit 60% recidivism rates are 15% going to commit another offense.
I think it's critical that we look at it as this is something that we can make different. We can do things differently and make changes, as opposed to being just reactive.
This community has identified mental health repeatedly year after year as a concern and a priority on a needs assessment.
Right now there's a task force. That task force consists of a prosecuting attorney, defense lawyer, probation and parole, the healthcare officials, local substance abuse and mental health officials. This team would put together services, manage the funds to provide services to those who are in acute mental health crisis.
I've had a lot of work with the Northwest Missouri Crisis Intervention Team Council, and that council is a collaboration between mental health providers, hospitals, state agencies, law enforcement, and courts, and trying to really put our heads together in how we can collaborate better to address behavioral health issues in our communities. How can we better utilize one another as resources for individuals that we're coming into contact with?
I grew up in a time I didn't know anything about mental illness. It wasn't talked about, and now more and more people are talking about it. I think that is our springboard, our first step is for people to understand really what mental illness is, what's the prevalence, how it impacts Maryville, Missouri and beyond. It's moms, it's school teachers, it's business workers, it's food service people, it's everyone. If you're not impacted directly by mental illness, I can assure you somebody you love and who's very close to you is.
My husband was the youngest of 12 children. I think the paternal grandmother suffered from depression. Several of his siblings have dealt with depression. And it was a rocky road. You know, when life was good, it was very, very good. But it was a situation where medications were needed just to keep the levels in his body balanced. I think probably years and years and years of just putting on that happy face every day and just getting through life just really wore Pat down. And, you know, we did not expect the outcome. You know, there is such a thing as a broken heart. And I don't think any of us will ever recover from that. But at our expense, if we can just help one person, we'll feel like it wasn't in vain.
When you're helping that individual, you're also helping the teacher in that classroom. You're helping the school counselor who's struggling, trying to deal and help this individual. You're helping the school principal who's struggling to try to find help for the teacher and the counselor to help this person. So, you know, we're all pulling on this rope together, and if we can get help to the person that truly needs it, we're helping a whole lot of people in the grand scheme of things.
It will get better if you talk to somebody about it. I just hope that people will understand that and just know that they are worth something.
Hope lives here.
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 Hope lives here.